Hello. So I wanted to talk to you, Brian, about what I figure is going on with the world. I feel as if I was in the presence of two blue things. They look like brains. One of them seemed to be a dominant mind. He said, "Show me a perfect mind," in a voice that I never heard before. It's completely irrational to assume that came from me, because I was awake. I was jerking off in my bed as per usual, with my eyes closed. And then I saw the thing. Before that, where there was blue in a paranormal event, I was at the park, and I met up with this guy. He said, "So that's how it feels to be telepathic." I was on my bike, so I push on the brakes. I'm like, and I go back to him, and then I tell him, "Hey, you want to hear a good one?" The seed hit the ground, and the ground hit back in perpetuity. So I'm then treated to a persona of this gentleman. He must have a different persona or split personality or something, because he starts talking like this. I am love. I am the manifestation of love. The Aztecs and the Mayan, they knew, and he started making signs of a pyramid. Here, I'll show you. He said, the Aztecs and the Mayan knew of magnetism. And after that, I don't remember a word, unfortunately. I have typical Homo sapien amnesia. I'm willing to bet if you're watching this video, your entire recollection of the day prior, it could be no more, can be completed within like 2 minutes max. 10 minutes max. Looking within one's own mind to remember your path taken, that's something that's not practiced enough. They don't teach that in school. It's a hidden knowledge. Introspection, in your own mind, taking a trip in your own mind. Perception is reality, and this has been true forever. And I have 20/20 vision. I have perfect hearing by the grace of luck and God. And I'm gonna leave God out of this topic, because when I mention that word, there's 2 degrees: understandable God and what happened before the Big Bang. Who knows how many degrees of God there is, man? There could be an infinite amount of infinitely powerful gods, all controlled by God. It's like a vat in a vat, right? A vat to the power of a billion. Anyway, I kind of strayed off topic. To go back to the topic of astral projection, brother, the circumstances. All right, I'm going to try to describe them as scientifically as possible. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. Almost everybody was asleep. Hi. And, let me get this out of the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there was Wi-Fi, right? There's been overlapping Wi-Fi for about 3 years. You got to take that into account. You got to take into account the tremendous single thunderbolt in January. You got to take that into account. And the recent earthquake activity. You got to take into account that there is aliens on Earth. Jesus was an alien, dude. Miraculous conception. But let's leave classical esoterical themes out of this. Let's keep this purely scientific. I was under the influence of blow when I astral projected to my mother successfully. Earlier in the day, I had eaten some. Rule number 1 with blow: you don't blow it, you eat it. Okay. bioavailability reasons. So listen, what else? I was feeling calm. I was feeling zen, so zen. I didn't want anything. I didn't want blow. I didn't want sex. I was, as some Buddhist monks descriptive what they call it the black void, right? Where it's completion and nothing. That's how I was feeling. And I've also been hyper acute of sound, right? And at nighttime, I noticed that there's a sound. It sounds like, and I was wearing headphones, right? The Faraday cage, Bluetooth headphones that were off at the time when I gained insight onto what the Faraday effect is, and that is with the accentuation of psychic powers via Faraday cages, and that is, you can notice there's a sound, a wind sound that your mind makes, and that's audible, and it follows the monosyllables that you speak, monosyllables of your mind, and it has a mind of its own. For example, I had the Bluetooth headphones on my ears, right? And there was TV and my thoughts and my family too. My mom and Jasmine were there, and I started hearing a sound at a certain place of the house. Luckily, I was at a certain place. There was a mini fridge right there too. You got to take that into account with the observance of an auditorial dimension that exists. There was 2 fridges in the house, right? And we're stealing Wi-Fi. You have to take that into account too. We're taking in signal from the neighbors. You got to take that into account. I think. I don't know conclusively if we're siphoning off the Wi-Fi from there to our house, but cell phones go dead in that house. Okay, so everything's electrified in there, and I was thinking thoughts, and every thought that I was thinking syntactically, the noise followed like this, and I could hear it, and it was impressive to me that the noise was audible at a certain location of the house. And this was July 25th, around, give or take 3 days. Around, it was from between 1:12 to 1:18 p.m. And that, you gotta take that into account. Summer, Anaheim, California, longitude and latitude, you gotta take that into account too. So it was, I was being impressed, having fun with my thoughts, being tracked by the sound, and the TV sound, was making the wind sound track, make monosyllables. Almost as if there's an intelligent universe getting smarter and there. Okay, so then it started doing this. I hope I didn't bore you with that explanation. I have a trouble. I've always had the trouble being tongue-tied. I can't speak as well as I can think, or convey ideas. I mean, I can convey ideas. So listen. The thing got a mind of its own. It started doing this. But not the positive of that, the negative. It was a single frequency. But it was very sublime. And then it started doing this. It started doing 4 monosyllable emptinesses of space. On the first, it was 5 monosyllable emptinesses of space. And when I say that that it was tracking what my thoughts and the TV's thoughts and everyone who was talking's thoughts, it was the emptiness of space in that single tone frequency while I was wearing the headphones, the Bluetooth headphones. So I don't know how I don't know why I'm telling you this now. I forgot what dot I connected to this. But if you ask Mom, she will tell you that she did dream of a waterfall and a boat, and I was there. And after I intentionally said telepathic, "Hey Mom," really serenely at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I heard her voice. And this is the truth. The chances of that happening are probably 1 in a billion or more. It's almost impossible, right? So that's proof to me, and I hope that it opens your eyes to the world that's not boring, so you can think of the beautiful paranormal existence that is out there, the extrasensory perceptive existence that we can't perceive, like UVA, UVB. And I hope you don't get bored with that. You know, we are sharpened by each other's presence, by each other's magnetism. And it's incredible to me how this is hidden knowledge. There has been. I've never seen a video on YouTube with clear instructions on how to do it. How to astral project. In July, I'm 25. 25? Somebody you have a close bond to of kindred spirits, which is a lot of us. Kids are kindred spirits. You know, just I don't know why telepathic hate has such significance to me, but it does. Nomenclature is different for everybody. Everybody will have a different emotional arousal when they hear telepathic hate or telepathy. When they hear words. And so yeah, with the establishing of the bond, you say telepathic hate, and then the name, right? Or you could just say friend, and then that's potentially anybody, dude. 2 or 3 in the morning, or when most people are in REM sleep, I would imagine, because they probably have to be in REM sleep because the electrical signals in their brain are OP. So that makes them hypersensitive to mental exhortations, psychic communications, everything. Personally, this is an anecdote. Some of the most beautiful dreams that I've ever had have been when the music in my fully conscious self intermixes with the dream. And it's awesome to me how it can mix with the dream and still make sense instantaneously. That to me is another way to check if you have extrasensory perceptions. You know, when you listen to music and then it intermixes with the dream, and the dream makes sense, works around it, and it makes sense. It's beautiful. I gained full control of my subconscious, it would seem, one night when I was gazing at the stars in the porch. I shaved this side of my head. I don't know if you can see it. To put a TENS electrical therapy machine on there for the purposes of I don't know, introspection led me to it, man. When I was a kid, I would pluck here whenever I was not at ease. When I in math class, the math class made me so annoyed, and I would pluck here. So I shaved this because I thought to myself, that must have been a subconscious call for me to have the sunlight hit this spot. and I'm not shaving it off because I mean I like hair. And then I put one on my hand, right? And then I shaved my pineal gland, and I put 2 pads there. And that shit hurt like a motherfucker. So then I took it off and I put it on my hand. And while I was gazing up at the stars, I was imagining bird calls. And I swear to you, on all that is truth. And I consider the spirit of truth one of the holiest sacred spirits that's ever existed. And by the spirit of truth's me putting my word on it, I heard bird calls, man. I heard bird calls. I would think them, and then they would answer back. The one that goes like, and then crows too. And then I would imagine stars like flashing. I would look up at a star and for a long time. And then briefly, I would imagine ancient light illuminating the land and hitting. And then as I made the bird call, and that summoned, that made me audibly hear bird calls. It was a lucid dream that was reality with TENS therapy. One on the spot and one on my right hand. TENS therapy, electrical stimulation, that's the future. In auditorial suggestion, theta, delta, alpha, beta, auditorial suggestion of those waves, that's the future too. For alarm clocks, man, to find relaxation, to find motivation. At nighttime, tune into whatchamacallit, I don't know, one of those 4 or 5. And I consider myself a theosophist, meaning I am, or an Emmanuel solipsist, meaning everything, absolutely everything, aside from plants and trees, even bacteria. Maybe not bacteria, all mammals, are windows to the eyes of the Creator, so He can check in on us and be entertained, and so we can understand of what's going on and perceive. And this spirit travels across like-bodied individuals, like the mammals, the bugs, and peeks out occasionally, you know. And I, for a long time, I've noticed, man, when I'm writing something down, I hear the perfect word a lot of times, and it makes perfect sense. It fits right in. That might be the psychic pen or whatever, or not whatever, the psychic pen ability, or the psychic pen practice, which is something that I do not practice enough. I gotta go to a crowd and do it there. This has been a long video. If you're a fruit fly and paid attention to it, you probably know all this. You probably perceive fruit flies, man. They have quantifiably less time on Earth, or so it would seem to us. But the fruit fly, its days are quantifiably slower to it. And just, you know, trip out about that. Think on that, you know, philosophize on that idea. I realize now that I might have spoken a little fast, a little rushed, which is not conducive to leaving an impact. So there's a part of this video that you hear. Let it be this: astral projection is real. It's like the movie Inception, but less gain. You don't get gain from it. You can paint somebody a pretty picture. You can paint somebody a pretty picture by telepathic communication, saying telepathic, hey, friend, or more directly, name. If you hear a response, any auditorial response, count that as a connection. Once the connection has been established, suggest to them, do you see? Or waterfall, something, and picture it. Suggest it syntactically, the same way you establish communication, syntactically and mentally. Even after that, if you hear no response, if you have faith that they're receiving the message, it'll work. I don't want to lose all my credibility, but meth does accentuate psychic powers. I know there are some out there that have tuned in to their oneness without the use of drugs. Probably. You have to consider yourself what telepathy is, right? It's nothing but the trading of information. We're already doing that. Our cells trade information. They know when to die. They know how to take out you know how to take out the used fuel products through their peripheral cell wall. They know how to construct themselves on DNA information. That's telepathic communication. Your brain holds itself. Your brain holds the body together automatically. There's two kinds of stimulations: parasympathetic and sympathetic. The mind is all will, restrained by the ligands of the brain. The universe is fire. It's pure energy. If I was a part of the universe in its truest state, I would be a ball of plasma for a few seconds, and that's it. Where's sustained nuclear reaction? The insides of Earth are fission or fusion, I don't know. I hope not to lose track of reality, that being amazed by this or seeking this psychic stuff. I mean, I need a job. I need to keep my family together. The orcas are one of the most exemplary mammals on the planet. They stay together with the family until 30-ish. They stay with the mother figure almost all their lives. And changing position, changing roles and rearing the children, that's a vital step in having a functional family unit. Where the elderly take care of the youth, they're sharpened. And you know, the third age. I was born an old spirit. My dad was 46 when he had me. My brother was 49 when he had my brother. He's an exemplary sailor. E3 in the Navy. God save Trump and the foster care system. Over.